Hey everyone, welcome to Talk Murder Me. My name is John. I'm here with Jen and Nicole. Tonight's episode is lovely. And we're going to be talking about, I'm trying to think of some feet terms here. I've got a real shoe-in. No, that's not really a thing, is it?
We're not going to toe the line.
Oh, that's good. Okay, best feet reference in this episode wins. And for live chat too.
John, you are the heart and soul of this podcast.
Okay, none now, because what the fuck?
Well, that's not fair. I just thought of two good ones. I am putting a petition to make those two count because those were good.
Tonight we're talking about the Salish Sea feet. So since 2007, there have been tennis shoes, or should I say feet wrapped in tennis shoes, randomly floating up in the Salish Sea. Do you know where the Salish Sea is? You know where Puget Sound is?
Yeah, in Seattle.
There you go. So the Salish Sea is right by there. So this is on the coast of Washington, and then Canada is right there. So this is both of their problems.
Okay.
It's near where my sister used to live.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. She used to live on Whidbey Island, and it's like a ferry ride over from Victoria.
Oh.
So if you're new here, I put all my sources on talkmurder.com. This is the Salish feet episode. This was requested by Marjul.
Surprise shots. Surprise shots. We don't know what they are because they're a surprise.
Oh, not good shooter. Not a good shooter, man. That's not supposed to be shot like that.
Whew. It's vodka.
It's just fucking...
I thought it was okay for vodka.
That's just... I don't know, man. This is a fucking crazy story, guys. No one's ever done this story. Ever. I'm just kidding.
Is it a 10 out of 10, Din?
Jen, I'm done.
Don't be jealous because she is getting all these.
We are going to the Salish Sea in Puget Sound. What is a sound? I mean, I know what it is, but I mean, because I looked it up, I didn't know what it was.
It's almost like a bay. It's a type of waterfront
Body of water. Is it like what is in between two land masses? Land masses.
Yeah, that's it.
Really?
Yeah. It's a body of water that feeds into and it feeds into a bigger lower body of water.
What is the difference between a sound and a bay then?
I'm not sure. That's a good question, but I'm not even sure why they call it a sound. I tried to figure that out. Like, where the fuck did that come from? But yeah, so the Puget Sound is where we're going to tonight. I did reference the story last week for you guys, and this is a crazy story. And I want you guys, without looking it up, when you hear the story, I want you to really think why, since 2007, tennis shoes was invented in like the 1800s. I was looking up like real old tennis shoes. So since 2007, which was what, like 13 years ago, whatever it was, 15 years ago, there has been an epidemic of feet washing ashore on the Puget Sound. So, like, why? And whose feet are they? So, if you guys on live chat want to answer those questions or just kind of throw some stuff out there, we'll definitely shout you out. It's definitely a very interesting case, and I'm going to answer all those questions tonight. But here we go right here. We go into the Salish Sea. Salish Sea is the sea here, the water. See, Salish Sea right here. But so looking at this map,
so that's Whidbey Island, I think, right there.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna show you some of the feet. So hold on a second.
Ooh.
So this is
shoes with the feet.
This is the first one found right here. You can't really see much. They cleaned it out. This was found in 2007. We're gonna get into this one, but some of the other ones, this is one right here. Now, the feet aren't really sticking out, but the toes are in there. Everything's in there. It's filled out. That's a filled out shoe right there, man.
So there's something in these shoes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to show you some of the shoes with the tendons and ligaments in there. I just kind of want to...
I don't know why, but I feel like knowing that there is something inside that makes me feel gross. It makes me feel worse than if you were just like, look at this shoe they found in the ocean. Like if I didn't know that there was a foot in there.
Oh, here we go. There's one.
Oh.
All right, tonight we're going to August 20th, 2007. We're talking about the Salish sea feet. Since 2007, there have been feet floating up to the shores around Salish Sea. There's 3 questions I really wanted to know about this case. Number 1, whose freaking feet are these?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question.
Yeah, exactly.
Did they see an upturn in amputees? That wasn't a joke. That was a question. That was a question.
I can't take you seriously anymore.
That wasn't supposed to be. That wasn't even a pun. That was like.
I mean,
serious
Lauren
question.
wants to know, why aren't there any other body parts?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the other one. So the questions I had were, whose feet do these belong to? Why has this been an epidemic since 2007 and only since 2007? Like that year, why has this been some epidemic? And why here? Why in Puget Sound? Why in this one location? Which I kind of answered, but that's not the real reason. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously it's a trap, you see.
Like currents wise, you mean?
Yeah, like, well, yeah. So those are the 3 questions I had, and I did answer them all. I did a lot of work on this case because it took me a while to actually find the answers, but we're going to answer all those questions. So you have, whose feet are they? Why since 2007, and why here in the Salish Sea? This story is called the Salish Sea feet, severed feet, actually. 12-year-old girl, she's walking with her family on Jedidiah Island in the Puget Sound, and she comes across a shoe. Now, this shoe right here, the specific one, is a 12-inch running shoe, and I'll put this on Talkmore.com. I'll put all these photos on Talkmore.com. This is the first shoe found that started the epidemic. This is a 12-inch running shoe, and it's male. It's a black and white Adidas shoe, and the foot was still inside with the sock attached. The sock and the foot were still inside. 6 days later, a couple hiking on Gabriola Island, which is right around the corner, come across this one here.
Coroner Rose Stanton said both feet were decomposing, but still had flesh on them.
Oh, that's supposed to be coroner. Fuck. Can you read
Coroner.
it? Coroner.
Coroner Rose Stanton said both feet were decomposing, but still had the flesh on them.
Ew, you know what that reminds me of? Like when you do those foot peels.
Ew.
And like the skin, like, oh.
The caretaker of Jedidiah Island, Bruce Jones, said, quote, there were 5 different shoes on the beach, and for some reason she picked up that one, untied the laces, turned the sock inside out and around the feet. So the second one, as I said, 6 days later, a couple hiking on Gabriola Island. So this is within a week. Both of these shoes are right feet shoes. Both of these shoes are male. Both of these shoes are 12-inch running shoes. All of the shoes we're talking about tonight will be running shoes. There's no boots found. There's no whatever y'all wear, high heels and stuff. None of that. Only running shoes. The second foot was so waterlogged and completely ripped apart, they think it was dragged on shore by animals. It was a Reebok athletic shoe. And as Nicole read, Coroner Rose Stanton said, quote, both of the feet were decomposing but still had flesh on them. All right, if you want to read this, this is from the Time Colonist, August 31st, 2007.
Quote, 2 being found in such a short period of time is quite suspicious, said Corporal Gary Cox, spokesman for Oceanside RCMP, which polices Jedidiah. Finding one's foot is like 1,000,000 to 1 odds, but finding 2 is crazy. I've heard of dancers with 2 left feet, but come on.
Let's answer this question. Whose feet are these, right? So the initial guess was, well, Tell me your initial guess. Tell me whose feet these are.
I mean, what the fuck would, like, what's a reason to have a bunch of detached
It's probably mafia.
feet?
Oh,
Or-
could be mafia. That's a good guess.
In friggin' Washington State?
They're all male.
Maybe someone's trying to start a tow truck company.
Get out.
That was good. That was good. Why would there be feet? Was it like a, this is going to sound like super dark, but was it like bodies that were being transported and shipped no, they wouldn't have clothing or shoes.
Like donated, you mean?
No, I was thinking like,
Human trafficking?
no, like if a deceased body needed to be transported to a different place for burial, but they wouldn't be clothed or have shoes or anything on it.
Why wouldn't
and why
they?
would it be running? Why
There's going to be
shoes?
naked corpses in the back of the freaking tugboat?
No, like either they're like going to be dressed up for their burial, but why would there be?
Well, maybe they cut them in pieces and ship them with Amazon delivery for cheaper shipping.
Well, I would assume that maybe they were runners. If they're all athletic shoes, maybe people were running on the beach and someone was targeting them.
That's pretty out there. Just runners on the beach and someone just goes up there and slices their foot off. Think about what you're saying. What, with like a sword or something? Just run out of the bush. Shing.
No, I mean they like. No, I mean they probably.
What about the rest of the body?
Maybe they got weighed down. Maybe they chopped it up to transport the body, and they weighed down the rest of the body, but the shoes floated. I don't know, John.
No. It's a good guess because I didn't know either. Okay, it's a good guess. Most people think mafia or something. In fact, there were rumors around this time. So 2007 is when it picked up a lot. And now 2022, from last time I checked, there's at least 21. There's probably a lot more that weren't reported.
Individual feet, not like it's got a partner.
Yeah, individual feet.
Well, yeah, well, this is a serious question.
It's not like they found the other foot.
No, that's a good question. But
I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop.
Why?
the other shoe to drop.
This reminds me of that documentary we watched. This guy at like a yard sale bought a cooker grill, like one of those circular grills. He takes it home and there was a human arm inside of it. And he kept it and opened a museum, like a sideshow with the human arm and the grill. And then the guy that actually lost the arm.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that shit? It was
Didn't we cover this for like a Patreon episode?
The guy
maybe?
was like trying to sue. The guy with no arm was trying to sue this guy because that was his arm,
and
rightfully.
it was like in a museum. It was like in an at-home museum.
Yeah, it was like in a sideshow attraction. And so he was trying to sue him because technically that was his arm, but the court was like, well, no, he found it, so it's technically his arm, but he's like, I don't have an arm, it's mine. Dude, it's so, I don't know.
That's
what
crazy.
I do remember this.
It almost reminds me of this it kind of similar but different. It's like
we should cover that fucking story.
I thought we did.
No, we didn't. Like
that was a documentary we watched. I don't know what it was. It was like the grill. He made like a lot of money on it, and then the guy that lost the arm contacted him and tried to get it back, like through the court system. And it was a big question of who actually owns the arm.
Huh.
The guy that fucking it came off of.
It's called Finders Keepers is the documentary.
Interesting.
Over John Wood's attempts to recover his mummified leg.
Oh, leg.
From Shannon Wisnat who found it in a grill purchased at a storage unit auction.
They were seriously
fucking cover
fighting
that.
over it, dude. All right, fuck it.
Lauren wants to know, did you find any information on how the feet were eviscerated? Was it like a circular saw, a hacksaw? Was it all one kind of like cut?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'm going to answer that later. Let's just say that
like a grave robber?
The newspapers consider them severed feet, but severed means cut.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that is or not what it is, but I will answer that question. Yes.
Maybe it was a grave robber who had one foot bigger than the other and took already decomposing feet and shoes, but only needed one size. And so he took the 12s.
Because they were all size 12? Or no?
No,
You said
no,
12,
no,
you
they-
said 12 and 12.
No, just these first two were size 12
Oh, okay.
running shoes. Like some of them are lefties, some of them are
Okay.
righties.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
One, to answer your question earlier, they were found in pairs, but one wasn't found for 4 months after.
Okay, but only one pair found.
And in fact,
But only one pair was found. The rest were individual feet.
Yeah, exactly.
Not without its mate.
Yes.
You know what they should have done? They should have taken the feet out and given the shoes to good. No. I'm not.
What the fucking
No.
We're just going to park that statement right there.
We're gonna stop.
All right.
No, I didn't mean it like that's a good thing to do. I meant like if he was trying to get away with it instead of throwing them in the ocean.
All right. Let's get back on track here. This was 2007 when the 12-year-old girl found the first foot. I'm taking us back a few years before that, New Year's Day 2004.
Oh,
Okay? So you guys with me?
Mm-hmm.
We're going back to 2004, which is how many years between 2007, Jen?
3.
3. There was a young man, he was a Muslim in Washington, right? This is New Year's Day. He tells his family that he needs to go and worship at his local temple. He leaves his family New Year's Day 2004. This is in the evening. He pulls up his Acura Integra to the Alex Frazier Bridge, which is in Washington, real close to the Puget Sound. A little bit about his background. He's struggling. He's not accepted by his peer group. He was depressed and lonely. New Year's Day 2004, he pulls up his car to the Alex Frazier Bridge. He knows suicide isn't in his religious doctrine. Just like Christianity, you can't kill yourself, right? But he looks at his life. He's young, he's 22, and he just thinking that he's got to live his whole life feeling like this. Which, if you're feeling like that, is not the case. That's better days are coming. What was it saying? It's not a bad life, it's just a bad day. But he feels at that moment that all of his peers are having fun. It's New Year's Day. You know, the ball's dropping, everyone's kissing or whatever. Everyone has stuff to look forward to, and he doesn't have anything to look forward to from what he thinks. This is from the National Post, which is a Canadian newspaper, September 2nd, 2011. Quote, Talib's fall takes 3 seconds, striking the icy water at more than 117 kilometers an hour. He might as well be hitting concrete, end quote. So this young man wasn't accepted, down, depressed, takes his own life by jumping off the Alex Frazier Bridge. Okay. Now, his body goes undetected. They did search, but it was undetected. It got, like at the bottom, you have the seaweed and all that shit. Sometimes things get lodged. He goes undetected for 4 years.
Wow. So
4 years. Hold on. His family grieves. Police initially search in vain, and then the time passes. In early 2008, his family receives a call. They found Talib. Quote, after detaching, his left foot rounds a couple of bends in the river and washes onto West Hem Island, a farming community just south of Richmond. His right, meanwhile, moves nearly 100 kilometers. In February 2008, Talib's right foot is discovered by forestry workers on remote Valdez Island. So
So these are suicides.
This is one case. I was misspoken. That's not the first foot found. This was the third and fourth foot found. But this is one case. We're trying to decide who these people are because
the whole like if someone's jumping off of a bridge from a certain height, it's like you said, like jumping into concrete.
Yeah.
So if they were jumping feet first, it's like their feet can like just break off. Is that basically what happened to this person?
Are you talking about how the feet come off from the body? That's
they
a
like
question.
Break off.
Well, so that's one of the questions we're going to ask because there's a very scientific reason why the feet detach at the ankle. The body goes its own way.
Because it's a joint.
And you got other joints in your body, fucking arm,
But
fingers.
if you're jumping feet first, it can just like kind of.
Would
when
you
it
jump feet
bends-
first? I don't know. I guess you would.
I can't imagine diving head first off of a fucking bridge.
I mean, think about the World Trade Center, that famous photo of the guy diving. He's going head first.
Was he?
Did you know that if you throw a penny off of the Empire State Building, it would have enough velocity to kill someone?
Yeah, I think my elementary teacher told me that.
You're being mean.
All right, go ahead and read this, Nicoise. I think I've read it, but...
Richmond. His right, meanwhile, moves nearly 100 kilometers. In February 2008, Talib's right foot is discovered by forestry workers on remote Valdez Island. 4 months later, a couple on a walk spot his left foot.
But if it was there for 4 years and it's continuously decomposing, would the ligaments stay intact, or would that...
You saw the shoes. They're just the shoes.
No, I know. I'm saying, like, if it decomposes enough, like, would it erode the ligaments so that it would be free to go?
But you got ligaments all over your body, your fingers.
But she's saying, like, after that period of time, does that, like, erode in the water?
Like, was there something in the water to, like...
Or does the shoe protect the ligaments from being...
That's a really good question. No, but that's a really good guess. But no, that's not.
Okay.
You're talking about natural decomposition in the water.
Like, is there something in the water
because
that's like...
Your ankle was thinner, maybe it's got ligaments and then connective tissue instead of actual muscle. Because, I mean, this is pretty thin.
Yeah.
That's a really good guess, but no, that's not the reason. It's close, but not the reason. That was still a good guess. I mean, I didn't know any of this shit either until I fucking researched it.
Talib's feet were the third and fourth floating feet to be identified. The Jedidiah Island foot, the first to be found, was determined to belong to a depressed man from the lower mainland. A right foot discovered in late 2009 outside Richmond was that of a Vancouver man who was reported missing in 2008.
All right, moving on. Let's talk about another one of these feet found. Now, this is just the people that were ID'd. I'm going to talk about how hard it is to ID a foot that is in a shoe to the person that it came from, and apparently it's pretty hard. There's a couple things you can narrow it down by, which is what?
DNA and what shoe they were wearing when they were missing.
Yeah, DNA is what everyone thinks of, but there's this thing that I see all the time called the CSI effect. So with DNA... We know this for true crime. The DNA databases and the testing labs are backed up for years. And I'm doubting shoes and feet are going to be top priorities. It would take years for DNA to test these feet. And even if they do, these people have had to be in prison or been in some situation where they got their DNA taken from blood. So if my feet goes up and washes ashore on Sullivan's Island down here, you're not going to be able to know it's me. Well, you probably will because I got them nice sneakers, but with my DNA, you're not going to be able to know because I'm off the grid type of shit. No one's got my DNA.
So then the question becomes...
So you can't back it up to anything. Let's talk about another foot found on Jedidiah Island who belonged to a missing Everett man. We actually have his photo here. This man was missing. He's a young man. He's been missing for 2 years. He has been also kind of staying with the wrong crowd. And this is him right here. He's 22 at the time. This is him, Antonio Neal. That's his photo. So he goes missing. He was with the wrong crowd as well. His mother says, quote, "It's so scary not having all of him and just not knowing what's going on. That's what his mother, Jenny Neal, says. They found his foot 2 years later after he goes missing. His mother had thought that he may be bouncing around in different homeless camps. She did say that he was sleeping in his car for a while and that he was on drugs and stuff like that. No one knows what happened to him. We do know that Talib took his own life. We don't know if that's true for Antonio. This guy's name is Antonio Neal, Niell. We don't know if that's true for him, but we do know that that's his foot. So I'm just showing you guys who these people are. Let's talk about how to identify the foot to the person, and then I'll answer the question about who these feet belong to. About half the feet so far have been identified, and this is through a database and these two researchers that have been working tirelessly to identify these feet. And it's actually more difficult than you might think. Here, I have a picture of this right here. This is, I know it's hard to see, guys, but this is all the feet that have been found. It might be kind of hard to see. I can send you the website.
15 feet?
This is an old photo here.
Because there was 21.
There's 21 up to this point right now in 2022 from what I saw. But these are the feet. You see, they're all around the island. You see a lot of them are up towards that one section. Obviously, it gets caught up in there, and that's where the feet are. This is from the National Post. Bill Inkster and Stephen Fonseca, they're just trying to identify shoes. Fonseca, they're trying to identify shoes. And I was reading about how they were doing it, and they were saying how hard it was. So basically, the first thing they can do is break it down by size of shoe and whether it's male or female. They obviously take that information, put it against the database for missing persons. That's where they start. After that, they actually look at coastal currents and see, they actually track the coastal currents at the time that they went missing and see if it matches up. So coastal currents is like where the water is pushing, right? And these in Puget Sound, which is going to kind of answer one of the questions here of why Puget Sound, are westerlies. So they're pushing stuff from the ocean towards Washington. Okay, the currents are pushing towards it. That's why all the debris and shit is going towards Washington and not being pulled away from it. I think over here we have it the other way, I'm pretty sure, where they're pushing out. Although I'm not 100% sure, but I do know for a fact that the currents in this area are pushing towards the mainland. The next things they look for is diseases. They can tell, like you said, prosthetics. That would be an easy one. Like maybe he's missing a toe. Does he got a tattoo? Whatever, any diseases that they can see that have been documented. So this is how they're finding it. And I mean, think about it. There's a lot of people that go missing. So this is a lot of work to do this. All of the feet found that have been ID'd so far. So there's 21. There's about half of them been ID'd so far. Have either died accidentally or committed suicide. So there you go. I'm going to tell you that the word severed feet is used incorrectly in these news stories because severed means deliberately cut, and no one that's about to kill himself is going to deliberately cut off their own foot.
Well, I don't know if I would say...
They're detached, not severed. Severed means you're actually severing.
You're sawing
it off.
This is mostly like they're jumping into the water.
They're all jumping or accident. So maybe severing as far as like the boat rotor or whatever, the boat rudder or whatever, but the majority of them either died accidentally. One of them was a tugboat accident, or they have killed themselves voluntarily. We answered the first question. Boom. Who are these feet belong to? From the ones that are identified, accidents or kill themselves, which is kind of interesting because there's really no female shoes. So I'm guessing females don't really aren't jumpers. I think I saw somewhere where females are more likely to just take pills and kill themselves that way.
Correct.
And males are more violent. So jumping is fucking, oh my God, I would never, jumping, oh my God. All right, guys, so we answered the one question of who these people are. Next question, why are they floating to shore since 2007? Does anyone want to take a gander at why since 2007? Think about the type of shoe. What did I say? The shoes are what?
Athletic shoes.
Running shoes?
Running shoes. They're all 100% running shoes. Think about that. What happened or what's been happening since then that could allow this?
Well, wasn't there was the housing crisis? Like there was that
No, I'm sorry. All right, look.
She's going with like why people are depressed.
That may have something to do with it. That's a very good guess. I didn't even think about that. Let's refocus though and talk about the actual shoes themselves, the shoe industry. Since 2007, this has been an epidemic of running shoes, primarily because of the design choices of running shoes. We don't really see it because none of us fucking run track or whatever, but
well, I was on the track team.
Well, I know, but like
so was John.
No, I get it, but like there is a problem. In fact, in the Tokyo Olympics, there is a Nike shoe that was banned because it had an unfair advantage. So what would a shoe be unfair for? Being light, having more stability for the heel to run. Like the shoe was banned. You could not wear this type of Nike shoe.
Interesting. I did not know that.
So the shoes become more than just a fashion choice?
Well, the shoes, there's been a war as far as these companies, Nike and Reebok and stuff like that, to technologically make their shoes higher performance. And these shoes go for $300, $400 sometimes.
Yeah.
Like the new one, the one that was banned, it was like $250 for these shoes. Like I think they were called the Air Flies or something, banned from Tokyo Olympics.
Interesting.
Yeah. So the design of the shoe. Now think about why the foot was still enclosed.
They were tied really tight?
It doesn't really matter what shoe. It doesn't matter if it's a running shoe or a boot. The foot is still in the shoe because it's got the protective layer of being a fucking shoe, right? The shoe is protecting it from degrading and erosion, stuff like that. The shoe itself is protecting it. The reason they're floating up is because the lightness and the buoyancy of the new designs. That's why they're floating up. And we're going to kind of...
Lauren says the shoes float.
Yeah, the shoes float.
I said that earlier.
And Ashley also says Air Jordans, and she agrees with the timing of the recession.
Nat Geo actually did an entire study on this. They called it the, quote, never-ending quest to build the best, lightest, strongest shoe for athletes who are pushing the limits of human performance. The bladder... So Nike started this with their fucking Air Max. I shouldn't say fucking. It's not a bad thing. Nike started this with their Air Max revolution, which is instead of making a complete foam shoe, which is light, foam is light as fuck. But you know what is a lot lighter? Air. They make a plastic bladder.
Ashley was right then. Air Jordans.
Yeah, she was right. The plastic bladder that they put in shoes now, and in fact, this photo will explain it all. This is the evolution from Air Max 1 to Air Max 2015. You see nothing but foam here in the first Air Maxes. Now, this is in the 90s. The 90s.
But is this technology all in the heel there and all throughout?
No. Hold on a second. So Air Max 97, right? So that's 1997. So these are all the ones, and most of these are foam. But you see... the introduction with the Air Max 95, you see that it's not foam anymore, or it's mostly this plastic bladder which holds air. Air floats. So, and as you see the evolution of the shoe, there's more plastic bladders in there. They're lighter. They're not using the foam. They're using the plastic, these enclosed.
I have Air
plastic-
Max basketball shoes.
Yeah,
that have
exactly.
A little,
I mean, there's one you can pump up, remember?
Oh, yeah.
You're pumping up that plastic bladder, and that's air, and air fucking floats. I mean, we know that from the freaking diver story we did the other day, right? So that is the reason why they're floating. Not just floating, but since 2007 is because these companies are trying to make them lighter and lighter, and they're just getting more buoyant.
Oh.
So they float up to the fucking shore.
Got it.
Did that explain it?
Yeah.
So these situations have been occurring for a long time. It's just that the sneakers themselves are what are floating.
I mean, you can look I looked in the newspaper archives. There's feet that have been found like 1800s and stuff. I mean, feet do come up, but I'm talking about this since 2007. It's like every month there's a new foot.
So, I mean, I know that there were instances where the victims died by suicide, but what about the other people who were just missing? Like, did they, when they were identified as
they
the
all
people,
had sneakers.
They all had sneakers, right? But like,
It's not, they're not all athletes. I mean, anyone can get these shoes, you
right,
know?
but I'm asking, it kind of furthers the case because you have the people, like I said, you have the people who die by suicide, but then what about the people who didn't die by suicide but went missing? Do we have answers to what happened to them?
Well, hold
So
on.
I think it's like two scenarios is what he said. It's either suicide and their feet like kind of break off.
They're probably
or it was an accident and that their feet were severed.
okay, their
while
feet.
they died,
No.
right?
No, I never said that. Their feet were not severed when they jumped in the water, or they didn't break off. There's another reason for that, which we're going to go over.
Okay.
But there's only half of my deed because that's how many they've got so far, and all of those were either accidents or suicides. There's no homicides.
Okay.
So, I mean, think about the other half is probably the same. Maybe there's a homicide, but most likely it's going to be...
Because Lauren says, but that doesn't explain how they were severed from the leg. But Ashley says it's how they decompose.
This is from the National Post, September 2nd, 2011. Quote, all bodies begin to disarticulate if left underwater. Disarticulate means come apart.
That's what I said.
That's what Ashley said.
If left underwater long enough, normally a disarticulated body would be left to crumble into dust on the sea floor. The difference with the Salish sea feet is that they were encased in buoyant running shoes. As the ankles of underwater bodies wore away, the decomposing feet bobbed to the surface, end quote. So, Ashley, yes, you are right, but I'm telling you, there is another explanation that...
So it's a combination
because
of
this is from
shoes.
2011. The thinking at the time was decomposition of the ankles because there's only connective tissue and soft tissue there, so they decompose quicker. But since then, since 2021... March 2021, they've actually figured out the exact reason the Salish feet are floating up. And it is not decomposition, even though that does play a part in it. So
it's the decomposition plus the detachment plus the running shoes.
Just hold on. Now, why are there running shoes that are coming? Here's what I found out about that. The Pacific Northwest, because if I go to the beach... A lot of these people probably, whatever, close to the beach. I'm not wearing shoes, but in the Pacific Northwest, the beach is surrounded by the slippery rocks. Everyone wears running shoes around that area. To get on to the next one of how the feet actually become detached, we need to talk about sinkers and floaters.
I think he's talking about defecation again.
Yeah, I'm very immature. Next, we need to talk about sinkers and floaters and the science behind them before we talk about why the feet were disarticulated. There's two types of bodies that are found in water. You have floaters and you have sinkers. A floater is carried by the wind. And actually, about 6 months ago, I sent y'all guys a video. I saw that body on that washed on the shore.
On the beach, yeah.
I thought it was a whale.
Because it was bloated.
It was huge. And it was just some teenager who fell off the boat, like a week before. Mm-hmm. And his body bloated so bad that it looked like a well, a beached well. I've got videos of it and everything, but they hauled him off. I mean, it's scary to see. It was all slippery and shit. It was weird to see. I mean, y'all saw the video.
Yeah.
That was the actual kid.
You've also seen an alligator wash up on the beach shore, and they had to wrap his nose up
Yeah, I see a lot of shit.
I know you have a lot of
Like
beach
every
stories.
time. Yeah. Every time you go to the beach, like something happens.
The first, like when he started going consistently to the beach, I feel like when I first started, he's like, "Oh, the dolphins."
Dude,
I'm like,
the dolphin fucking headbutted me, man. Those guys are mean. Well, you swam with the fucking dolphins?
Yeah.
I haven't swam with the dolphins. Nothing ever
We know the
happens when I
spot.
go to the beach.
We know
show
the
up a lot
spot,
in
man.
Sullivan's,
We know the
yeah.
spot. There's a spot that
with
they
the
go.
sandbar.
Yeah.
I'm not telling
in
you.
Sullivan's.
Now, floaters will be carried by the wind and surface currents and will wash ashore. Floaters are exposed to air, which also means their decomposition rate will be different than someone that sinks to the bottom. Now, tell me how a cadaver would either be a floater or a sinker. What determines that?
Weight,
No, nothing to do with weight.
gas.
I'm going to go with that. Yep.
The rule of thumb is that cadavers will sink because they have no air in their lungs. So if you're in the mafia and you kill someone,
So does this have to do with when they're dead, when they hit the water or not?
Aha,
alive?
good point. Yes.
If there's air in their lungs or if they're already
yeah,
dead?
so if you jump from a bridge, like a suicide, right? You're going to have air in your lungs. You may expel it all or breathe it, but it's not all going to go.
Right. There's going to be something there.
Exactly. If you're dead, all the gases in your body have expelled. There's nothing to keep you buoyant. Think of the Nike bladders, the shoes that they float because it's the air. If there's no air in your lungs, you're going to sink. So yeah, a cadaver that is already dead will most likely sink. Now, this is just the rule of thumb. Sometimes it goes the other way, but cadavers are more likely to sink and drowners are more likely to float. Sinkers will usually go straight down to the ocean floor. The greater the water pressure is, the further down they go, which we learned in the Byford dolphin case. They're less likely the gases are to expand and less likely they are to rise up again. So if you throw a cadaver off in the middle of the ocean, he's going to sink all the way to the bottom. That pressure is going to keep the gases in, so he won't be able to float. Let's talk about grave wax. This is fucking creepy as shit.
Oh, grave wax. I don't like the sound of that.
This is called a adipocere. It's also known as corpse wax, which is fucking crazy.
Adipocere. That's like adipose, like fat tissue.
Yeah, adipose is fat tissue. Cere means wax. So
Okay.
that's why they call it the fatty wax. Yeah.
Okay.
And they also call it grave wax, mortician wax, or corpse wax.
Does that your body get waxy after you die?
Yeah, I'm going to show you a fucking picture you'll never fucking forget here in a
Oh,
second.
great.
Okay.
Do you know how many times he's said that on this podcast in the past 4 years?
You'll never forget this fucking picture. This picture's fucked. Adipocere is the hydrolysis of fat and corpses. Now, the reason this is important is because they found all the feet that were still in there. They had this grave wax on it. So if you think when your doggy takes a doo-doo and then you go back 3 days later and it's all white,
Oh, yeah.
it lost its color, that is what is filmed around a dead body that has undergone this hydrolysis. It's this waxy white, I mean, it looks like corpse wax. It makes it white. And here's the photo I want to show you. This is not the Salish Sea, but this is, and the reason that obesity plays a big role is because the adipose actually is the stuff that goes through it. So if you got more body fat, it's going to be more prevalent.
I said weight. I meant.
Well, here's what I'm saying. I want to show you what this is because all the feet had this. All right, just look at this photo. I just wanted to add this in there. This is fucking creepy. This is was an obese woman that went through adipocere. You see the white. I know it's fucking creepy, dude.
So that's what I'm gonna look like when I die.
Holy shit, let me get on the Peloton right now.
Yeah, you need to send me that rower right now.
That's fucking creepy, dude.
Like, I think that's the worst. Like, if you show me that when I was 19 years old, you best believe I would not be in the shape that I am right now. Like that is
Oh
that
my
is
God, I
life
skipped
changing.
my workout today.
I can't look like that. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't even imagine.
That is exactly how this you
Okay,
feel.
all right. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Oh my God. All of this will turn into that.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we got it too. It's all going to turn into that
Oh, you know what? I am glad though that you mentioned that the dog feces looks like that, because like when I first got Murphy, like his poop was turning white, and I was like actually concerned. I was like, "Am I doing something wrong? Is there something wrong with him?"
Time.
All right. Let's finish this up. To answer Ashley's questions, yes, you are right, decomposition. However, a recent study had came out where forensic scientist named Gail Anderson conducted a study to see how a homicide victim would decompose in the water. And they actually did this in the Salish Sea. So basically, here's the study. When a body falls in the water, it sinks down to the ground. What are y'all doing, man? What the
It's
fuck?
Pulling my face fat.
Can you send that to me so I could put that on a picture on my fridge?
yeah.
So every time I
Just
open
listen.
my fridge, I remember what that
You're
looks like.
I'm gonna eat a salad.
Just listen.
instead
All right.
now.
Legitimately, like, please send that to me.
You jump off a bridge, this is what your body's going to do. As soon as you hit the bottom of the ocean, the scavengers are going to set in. These are the shrimp, the freaking bottom feeders, all those little critters at the bottom. Tilapia, the catfish.
Tilapia are bottom feeders?
Hold on a second. The catfish and these guys, this is the exact science right here. These scavengers, and we're asking the question, why the feet? Why did the feet come detached? The scavengers are extremely lazy. They go after the softer parts of the body. So think of your ankle, and they pick around the bone. So if you think of like a chicken, if you ever break apart a rotisserie chicken, you got that very soft, tender meat right at the bone, and those scavengers are picking apart that. Where's the softest tissue in the body? It's in the ankle. The ankle has no real muscle. It's just connective tissue and ligaments. The scavengers start there. However, they can't get past the shoe, but they can bite and eat enough of that tendons and that cartilage there, that connective tissue, to detach the entire body. Okay? Once that happens, there you go. What floats?
Your shoes.
Your fucking shoes. Your shoe floats up. The body doesn't. That's how it works. The shoe floats up after it's detached by scavengers and decomposition, Ashley. And after that, that's when it floats. Now, this forensic scientist, Gail Anderson, she did this study right here. She used dead pigs, which were, I didn't know this, quite similar biologically to humans and comparable in size. She did this in the Salish Sea. She dropped dead pigs in the water, one at a time, and they sank approximately to 308 feet to the seafloor. Quote, what happened next was not pretty. The pig carcasses was quickly eaten by the large and unruly mob of shrimp, lobsters, and Dungeness crabs, starting with the expected areas, the anus region, and the facial.
Oh God, I'm like, oh God, not into eating the bottom feeder fish anymore. I did know that shrimp and lobster were.
They start at the expected areas,
that's the
which
only
is
seafood that I eat is shrimp, really.
okay. Hold on.
Shrimp.
The expected areas, the anus region, and the facial orifices. This the forensic scientist Anderson reported, quote, it was as if a Red Lobster buffet had risen up to exact its revenge, end quote.
Oh my God, that's a terrible image. Could you imagine if they were just like we're in almost like the Little Mermaid when you had all the sea creatures and they float into a restaurant, swim into a restaurant, and they were just like cut up human body parts, and they're like, let me eat this. Like, that's terrifying.
More tests were done with these dead pigs. They found that these Dungeness crabs and mobs of shrimp could eat the anuses and actually skeletonize a carcass in less than 4 days. They would they saw them pick only around the soft tissue, especially around the ankle bones, where that real soft, easy to pull off the bone meat is. Okay, so there you go. So technically, the word severed feet shouldn't be used because severed usually means cut. These are detached by things under the sea.
Nibbled feet.
Under the sea.
Now,
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
Now, wrapping this up right quick, that's the three answers to those three questions I had. Whose feet are they? Jumpers, accidental boat accidents, stuff like that. Why since 2007? We
Nike.
answered that. The whole bladder, the making the shoes so efficient and so performance.
Stop talking about bladders.
I was literally
have to pay.
just going to say that. Stop saying the word bladder.
2019 Tokyo Olympics, Nike, their new shoe was actually banned because it's so light, so buoyant. That is exact proof right there. It's been this war. That's the second question. Why is the third question?
The sneaker war.
The sneaker war. The third well, to finish this up, the third question is of such. A Parker McCready, and I have this, we're not going to go into it. It's very interesting right now. It's very interesting. I'll put it on talkmore.com. He actually developed, he's a professor of oceanography at the University of Washington in Seattle. He developed a simulation called Live Ocean. He developed it to simulate oil spills. However, they used it for the Salish fish case to see the trajectory of the fish using ocean currents, and 3 reasons came out with why the Salish Sea and not anywhere else. Number 1, the winds are westerlies. As I said, they're pushing into the shore, not bringing stuff away from it. That's pushing it into it. Number 2, you saw the Puget Sound. You saw the Salish Sea. It's a trap. You go in there, you can't get out. A foot goes in there, it's hard to get out, right? Plus, the current is pushing you back in there. That's why they're all found at that one spot. That one spot. You saw? Mm-hmm. Okay, and the third one is a lot of the beachgoers in the Pacific wear the shoes to walk around the rocks. That's the third one. All right, one last thing. I do want to put this in there. This is an actual foot that was found at the scene. And we're going to talk about Mike's stories real quick. A man named Mike Jones was walking his... Mike Jones. A man named Mike Johns was walking his dog on the southern coast of Vancouver Island. He saw this. So what I'm trying to say is they're not all feet.
Oh.
He took it home.
Why would you do that?
This is it at his home.
Dumb.
Look, this is it at his home. This is by a Coleman cooler. You see?
Oh my God.
Okay, so he saw what was a fibula and a tibia attached to the left foot, all of it encased in a white sock and a black Velcro shoe. Quote, by the looks of it, the foot was totally intact. The ankle bones was still worked. The ankle bones still worked, and the bones were attached at the base of the knee. That's what he told CTV News. He says his dog actually drug it up from the water.
Oh my God, that would be Luna.
He said that, quote, she was sniffing the bones, so I stopped and take a look and saw the bones and noticed it was attached to a shoe. This, what you're looking at, is the 13th foot found in the Salish Sea. The 13th.
Like, why would you take that home and not report it? I don't understand.
Because you get an epic TikTok
also,
video.
John would do that, so it's fine.
But that could be someone's grandpa. Like, look, it's an elderly person's
it's an old shoe.
Like, that's someone's grandpa's leg. Like.
All right, that's all I got. That answers the whole case. That is the entire freaking case about it. Why the shoes are there, where they're going, why they're going there, and why since 2007.
All right.
I went way too fucking far.
But you
this.
did a great job.
Great.
No,
it was
I really enjoyed that.
So I hope you guys like that.
Marjule got far more than she bargained for when she requested that, I'm sure.
Well, it's just so interesting, man. I was like, no, this can't answer it. Like, I got to figure out why.
Okay. I have to break the seal.
Same. Oh.
So I hope you guys like that. This was a Salish Sea feat. Thank you so much, Marjule, for requesting that. You can request stories at talkmore.com. There's a button at the very bottom of the site. It says request a case. Just type something in there and press the button. That's all you got to do. It goes straight to my email. I enjoy those. Definitely. In fact, this one was a request. Marjule, she had requested it from that little button there. But that's the story on the Salish Sea fish. That's the whole truth. Nothing but the truth. And until next time, my name is John. Good night, you lovely, lovely people.